Hey, I promised you a video on soul purpose, so this is it. And so stay listening if you are intrigued by your soul purpose, if it's something you've thought about, if it's something you focus on, or if it's something that even triggers you or confuses you, then I've got some tips about soul purpose and how you can connect with that and what that might mean. So if you've not met me before, I am Fay Johnstone and I teach shamanism, Reiki, plant medicine and all that sort of thing, and you can find out more about me on fayjohnston.com, and there are some links below to my books and some freebies and some training, and just look on the YouTube channel for further information about shamanic practice and Reiki and plant medicine. And here we go, let's dive in with soul purpose. So I think the reason I'm doing this video is because when I offer readings or shamanic sessions or coaching, 90% of the time the client is wanting to know, what's my soul purpose? Can you give me some information, etc. And so what I think sometimes happens is we feel a little daunted by this idea of having a soul purpose, and it can sound and we can kind of overly focus on it, almost to the point where we can't really see the wood for the trees. We can't actually really see and open to what is actually there, because we think we're trying to attain this kind of goal of soul purpose. So what I'd like to do is I'd like to invite you to reframe it. So rather than thinking of it as a soul purpose, think of it as what is calling to your heart and soul. Okay, what things, feelings, people, places are calling to you? And if we think about, what does soul purpose mean? I like to think of it as really, what living a life that brings meaning to your heart and soul. That is what soul purpose is. So it's having this purpose, basically a life that has meaning for your soul. So the question to ask yourself is, rather than what is my soul purpose, is like, how can I live a life which has meaning for my soul? And most importantly, really, I feel that we ask the wrong question when we're asking, what is my soul purpose? What we need to be asking is, what is blocking me? What is stopping me from living a life or creating a life which has meaning for my heart and soul? Okay, and this is where healing comes in, Reiki, shamanism, and working with plants. If you listen to any of my videos, you'll know that when we work with plants and nature is aligned. Nature is who it is. Nature is doing its thing. It's never veered off the path and thought, an oak tree has never thought, or an acorn rather, has never thought, oh, you know what, I'm going to be an ash tree when I grow up. It's oak 100%. They're not dilly-dallying around with, oh, what's my soul purpose? How can I live a life of meaning? Nature is on it. And so healing our blocks to this, healing what we are resistant to. So asking ourselves, and so working with nature can really help that. So asking ourselves, what am I not seeing? What am I not listening to? What am I not forgiving? What am I not letting go? Where is my heart closed? All these kind of questions. What am I not present with that's already here in my life, which actually is filling up my heart with joy and, making my soul, basically fire up on all cylinders and be, alive. I think sometimes we can get very confused with soul purpose. We think that it might be this lightning bolt, that it's going to be this aha moment, that it's going to be kind of complex. Whereas actually, I think the soul purpose, the meaning that we have for perhaps being, for being here, if we want to think about, the soul who came down and is now living on earth, and what is the meaning of all of this for us? And it's really, I think it's not very complex. We make it very, very, we overthink it. We forget that actually simply being alive, loving, smiling, taking joy in the simple things, that is soul purpose enough. Being, basically, I've written here, being alive and being your amazing self is enough. That is the soul purpose that we all have. And, the problem is we just don't know who we are, and we've forgotten what our magic is, and we've allowed things that have happened in our lives to, take us off course. And that is why really those self-reflection and turning towards your self and saying, what do I need to heal? What is blocking me? What is stopping me from shining? Maybe there's, ancestral healing that you need to do. Maybe there's power that you need to call back, or soul pieces, and things like that. So really being present and self-love and accepting self helps us to step into the person that we are, and following the nudges about what lights us up, what brings us joy, really asking that question, how can I create a life which has meaning for my soul? So following the breadcrumbs. And you'll know what they are. And if there are things that you have been done in your life that you're too afraid to go back to, or you've had a disappointment, then that's where, really self-love, healing, compassion for self will help you stay on track with that life that is, fulfilled and meaningful for you. Remember, it's very unique to you, and we all have our unique way of moving through this and navigating it and showing up. And because that's what we're all we are all creative beings with a unique gift. Another thing I want to say is what we can confuse these days is we can confuse our soul purpose or our calling with a job. We don't have to monetize everything. This is what I'm trying to say. We don't have to turn everything into a job that becomes our livelihood, the way we make money, and that becomes a business for us, okay? So, and this is where I see a lot of people kind of get confused. So for taking that sort of herbal example, for example, you can still have the, connection with plants, but it doesn't have to be all over the internet, going international, making a business. You can have just as much meaning sharing your herbal love and knowledge with friends, family, pets, the neighbors, etc. So we don't have to monetize it. We don't have to make businesses out of everything. I guess it doesn't have to be big and global. It's more really, I find those parts, those pieces which have most meaning tend to be closer to home, tend to be closer to the heart, not complex, big, shiny, appealing to the ego. They're really of a different quality and of a different vibration. We tend to confuse soul purpose when we start to sort of monetize something. So that would just be a word of caution that I have for you. If you have got a passion which you really feel is, your soul purpose, and you are you have monetized it, or it is your business. Obviously here I am. I work with shamanism, Reiki, plant medicine, and so on. And that is part of the business that I do. But actually, part of my thing that lights me up, my soul calling, is to write. So actually, this is why this year, particularly, I'm spending much more time nurturing that soul part of me that wants to write, that wants to create, because it doesn't mean to say that I'm not led by the plants anymore, but it just means that actually I'm listening to other areas of my soul which are saying, hi, I need attention. So part of what I'm trying to say is soul purpose. Think about it as being rather than doing. So soul purpose isn't necessarily, it's not a job, it's a state of being. It's being your amazing self, it's being who you are. So be brave, explore, and have courage. Ask yourself these questions. What is blocking me from living a life that has meaning for my heart and soul? Not what is my soul purpose? And start to follow the nudges. Really take a good look, get that mirror, look at it, hold it up at yourself, and just start to dive into where you might, what lights you up, what brings you joy, where you might be blocking yourself and not allowing, and unwind those stories. So unwind those stories and ask yourself what you love, and what's stopping you from being in alignment with that, and let me know how you get on. So please share this video if you found it useful, and like and subscribe to the channel, and find out more about me at fayjohnston.com. Okay, thanks everyone. Bye.